nothing to do. Good morning or good...
How you doing?
We're so used to this. Produce content and have conversations for those... All go to the lobby. Good morning or good evening, depending on whatever shift your seniority allows you to hold. I'm William Young, correctional officer, author, and advocate for the correctional profession. Tonight, I'll be your ever so gracious host and director of dialogue for the duration of this discussion. Allow me to welcome you with warm, unwavering outstretch and open arms to this week's edition of this Saturday Night Synopsis. This is the 20th show, 2-0. This is the longest relationship that I've ever had next to my wife, who I've been with for 20 years. But other than that, this is the only thing I've ever committed to, is this show and hanging out with you people. So I appreciate it, and I think I've gotten over my commitment issues now because of this. So tonight's a special show. It's the 20th episode. I have three very, very awesome people with me tonight. And I have a guy, first timer, my beta reader who I've talked to tonight, and we're going to bring him on in just a second. And then I have a couple of people that you're very, very familiar with. But first, before we get involved, I got to make a phone call here. You know what? Matter of fact, let me do this. We're going to make a phone call, but I'm going to introduce my guests because I want them to be involved in this phone call. So, ladies and gentlemen, on the show tonight, I have the ruler of the Tier Talk Empire and the king of the Keepers of Chaos, and my friend and beta reader, respectively, Anthony Gange, Russ Hamilton, and Roland Peters. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody.
Glad to be here, William.
When Anthony called me and said, hey, what do you think about having Russ on the show tonight? I said, you know what? If we're going to do a tag team wrestling match, I got to bring somebody. And and I only have one friend. And so that's what I did. I have two friends, but only one of them works corrections. So I had to.
Friend is kind of a stretch.
Yeah. So what I want to do, guys, first is I want to call a gal that I work with that watches the show all the time, Sarah, and she has made the Saturday Night Synopsis part of her routine every Saturday. Faithful viewer. If you guys have watched the show, listen to the show, you know we talk about her all the time. So I got a hold of her husband, and we're gonna give her a call. So hopefully she's not watching right now, and we just spoiled it. I got her on. This is gonna be Brian here.
Hello.
Brian.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Bill.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, is the missus around?
Yeah, stand by. Hold on one moment.
All right, brother. Can you guys hear him okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Hey, Sarah, this is Bill.
Hello. What's up?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. What are you doing?
Watching your show.
Oh, you are?
I am.
Well, thank you very much. Hey,
I wouldn't miss it.
I had I wanted to call you. I got that zucchini bread. I feel a little bit guilty because I feel like I guilted you into doing it. But it was fantastic. And I have a couple other people here that want to say hi to you and thank you for what you do. I have Anthony Gange from Tier Talk, and I have Russ Hamilton from Keepers of Chaos, and then I have Roland that you may or may not know. Folks, say hi.
Yeah. Yes.
Hi, Z.
Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
All right, can you hear him?
No.
All right, say hi again, Anthony.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I want to actually thank you for supporting Will's message. William has a very important message that gets out there every Saturday, and to see someone like yourself supporting what William does, it really means a lot to not just us and not just the Will, but the profession as well. Let me ask you a question. Are you subscribed to Tier Talk YouTube channel? Are you a member of Keepers of Chaos's group? All right, Sarah, we just gave you an invite there, Sarah. You could have lied and said you were subscribed. You could have lied and said, but it's all right. It's all right. You know, you're more than welcome to join Russ's group, I'm sure. And then you're definitely more than welcome to hop in the Tier Talk family.
All right, Sarah, I just wanted to say hi. I wanted to say thank you. It means a lot to me for you to take time out of your life, your busy schedule, to listen and to be supportive of what, you know, it's easy. It's always easy for other people who haven't seen me at my worst, at my you know, the bad days, to support me because they only know what they see on social media. But you've been there with me for the entire time. You're on my team when we started, and I love you like a sister, and I appreciate the support. It means the absolute world to me. So I wanted to call you on the show and tell you thank you in front of God and everybody, and yeah, I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you very much. Hey, get back to your Saturday night, okay?
All right, thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys, thank you.
Right on.
All right, and we're back.
And we're back. Let me log back onto the comments here. Did you guys all share it out?
Yes.
So how's everybody doing tonight? Did you guys do anything?
So who wants to go first?
Russ, let's Ray Anthony, you're going to talk all night. Let Russ start.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here on William's show once again. I'm out here in not so sunny, but very smoky California, where we're having all kinds of fires. Actually, in the very area where I'm at right now, there are multiple fires burning all around me. And yet we still have electricity and we still have air conditioning. But if the lights go out, this party could be over for tonight. For those of you that don't know me, I worked for 27 years with the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Got out of that and retired, went back to work for a juvenile detention facility here in Northern California. And the past few years, I've been kind of, though, after my retirement, living on both coasts. So I'm batching it tonight. My wife's back in Pennsylvania for a minute. And so this looked like the most fun that was to be had, for me at least.
Oh, great. So you had absolutely nothing to do. You're surrounded by an inferno. Everything in your area is closed. And you said, yeah, I'll go on William's show. Who cares?
Yeah, that's basically what ended up. I'm relegated to that. It's the best that I can do. The bar is as low as it possibly can be.
Yo.
Wow. Thanks, Russ. I appreciate it, buddy.
Yo, Russ, man. You just it was all funny till you said that shit. Now Will's going to get upset.
I am. I'm an emotional guy. I always cry a little bit after every show, but tonight's going to be real tears. Anthony, for the two people that don't know who you are, can you give them a little breakdown?
My name's Anthony Gange. I have about 18 years in the profession. I started as an officer. I'm now on the administrative level. I've worked everything from a female facility to males. I've worked in all levels of custody. I do have a show on the side which is called Tier Talk. It's a show which we advocate for the corrections profession. It's a show that we try to cover everything from all different angles. Most of the stuff, it's more about I bring people on and they discuss their experiences and their expertise. And I find that the show does very well with people that are entering the profession. I think there's a lot that we now provide to people that are interested in coming in or who are maybe already in but still trying to learn the ropes. And I think basically what we've done, again, when I say we, I mean the community, because Tier Talk isn't just about the people that come on, but the people that invest in comments and, really add quality to the channel, has actually done a lot for the profession on a whole, because remember, we didn't have this going into the profession. I didn't have this in 2002. I didn't have any resources for correction. So what turned out to be a fight for recognition actually wind up being just a resource. And I'm just honored to do this as much as I can, and just really honored to meet professionals like everybody on here and the people I've had on my show. I find it to be a blessing. It's not work for me. It's something I truly enjoy.
Anthony was one of the was my, if you follow the show, you know, he was one of my dream endorsements for my first book, and then I was like, you know what, if I could just get, because he was, if you look out there for correctional resources, you're going to see a few things, but most of them are not very engaging. They're not very exciting, and I was like, man, this guy, I need to figure out how to get involved and be a part of this movement that Anthony's pushing, and yeah, so I've been working with him ever since. I'm super excited, man, that you that we're engaged and that we do our back and forth, man, because and you're right, we talked about this a little bit this week, but you know, how do you get correctional officers to want to talk about work outside of work? And I think that the way to do that is to have engaging fellows like yourself, like Russ, and people are going to find out like Roland here to sit down and talk with, right? And to give them that atmosphere of like, hey, this is like between shifts, we're just talking, we're going to exchange some ideas and give them a voice and a venue. So I appreciate that. Roland, people don't know you. Some people may know you, but I kind of I begged you for an hour on the phone prior to this going live, mainly because I don't like the aesthetics of only 3 boxes on the screen, but we have 4 now, so that's awesome. And because I think you have a great perspective, and you are my go-to guy for when I write. See, when I write an article or I write a book, it's a big steaming pile of crap. And I send it to Roland, and then Roland reads it and tells me, hey, this is a big, steamy pile of crap, and you need to fix it. And I'm like, well, thank you very much. And he helps me do a lot of that. I wouldn't have been able to put out my first book without him. My articles that I have had published that have been successful is mainly because I'm bouncing ideas off of this guy. So Roland, say hi to everybody, buddy.
Hello, everybody. I'm the low man on the totem pole here. I have the lightest resume. When I listen to Russ, I listen to Anthony, I think, you know, the only reason I'm here is because the grocery store's closed. He needed a 4th box. I'm the guy in Hollywood Squares that's way up in the corner that nobody ever calls on. So, yeah, I've known Bill for, we've worked together for 10, 12 years. Closely worked together for the last 6, and watching him work is it's been an honor for me. He's taught me a lot on how to be a correctional officer.
So in saying that, you know that he's terrible, right? Because my advice is very, very shallow there.
I will say this: his daughter called me a paid antagonist for him, but I haven't seen a paycheck yet.
Roland, why do you have your mask on, Roland? Why do you have a mask?
I was exposed twice last week. I've had 3 tests in the last 3 weeks. I don't want anybody getting the vid from me.
You realize this is just a video thing, right? That there's actually nobody near you.
You know, but with this mustache, stuff is just splattering the screen. And
hey, I want one. How you doing, Mama Gange?
He's saying hi, babe.
You know what? Next time I'm going to interview Mrs. Anthony Gange before you blow up, before you take off, and I'm watching a documentary about, you know, where Anthony Gange is now, you know, and you're all like, you know, I want to interview Mama Gange and get the inside scoop, just in case.
I don't know about that.
I don't know if you want to interview her because she's busy doing the cooking from the last video you had.
Yes, you were there. That was the one we had. Yes, that was great. She was nice enough to, and also, look, I didn't even have to ask. She got me a cup of coffee.
Oh, look at that. Look at that shameless plug there.
Wait. The funny thing is this, though. If I had asked, she would have said no. So, you know, that's just how it all works. And I want to also mention something. A lot of people in the comments right now, I thought this would be great. Maybe we could gloss over a little bit, is motivating people right now, especially through COVID. I myself am a COVID survivor. I don't know if I like to share that out there. I don't really tell a lot of people that, but So I think that's a great way when we get a chance to really start that off. That was something that Greg Moore mentioned, and I think that it's very important right now to, share in with this, because I think the COVID right now is a scary time for everybody, especially working in corrections. But nobody is actually, they don't see that.
Well,
Because
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it right now, Anthony, because I'm going to tell you what I talk a lot about the mental strain of going to work and, the, hey, sitting on your couch and, hey, everybody get up and rah, 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 we're going to work. But when you're right now, I don't know how everybody else's facilities are, but right now, a lot of us are bombarded with policy changes, bombarded with emails. We have the normal things that we're dealing with. And then, like Roland kind of joked about a little bit ago, we get, exposure emails and go get tested and go get tested and go get tested. And so how can you separate your work life from your home life when you have this virus that's following you home?
Well, remember, we touched on this, actually, and I guess, can I start first? I'll just cut in, and then whoever wants to...
I think you already started. Started.
Okay. Sorry, I just want to make sure I don't want to, because I forget, man. I got to know my place right now.
No, you're fine, buddy.
Yeah, you know what? We actually touched on something recently, which I thought was very unique. So we always used to say that, work, home, but that's only if your position allows it. There are going to be some positions that aren't going to allow that. And unfortunately, right now, there are the times right now that may not allow that. I mean, one thing is when you're going to work and if you're not thinking about home right now, you're not going to protect your family.
Right.
So you're going to have the mindset going in that, okay, I'm going to do what I got to do, but I got to remember, man, let me limit my interactions. Let me, do what I got to do to make sure that when I get home, I'm good, but still take the precautions at home. The only concern that we saw at the beginning, but it should be a lot better now, is we saw a lot of inconsistencies throughout, especially, New York, New Jersey, where we were hit pretty much first, because we were struggling, trying to scramble, see what it is. And unfortunately, through that inconsistency, I think a lot of people lost faith in, the front line maybe, or maybe even the inmates, because we didn't really have a route that we knew what to take. But as we started to develop consistency, we started to realize that things are the things that are working. These are the things that aren't working. And when I start to see, as we go across the country, especially in California and Texas, when they start falling behind, to me, it's unacceptable, because we did the scrambling already. We perfected,
right,
as best we could, the prevention methods. So when I start seeing that you're moving inmates from hot spots into facilities that aren't, you're limited on resources, you have a spread. It's like, didn't you learn anything from what happened in the scramble in New Jersey, in New York at Rikers? Rikers. So
right.
My concern right now is that people right now are not understand. Do we have some kickback, or is that me? Is there some kickback at all, or is that me?
I don't know. Is somebody echoing?
Yeah, it's all right. It could be on my end.
Okay.
But the concern is, like, this is what gets to me. The concern is like this, that we went through this huge scramble to do what we can. And yeah, I still see that there's officers dying, there's inmates dying. And then when you go back and find out why, it's like they're still at the point where they're not giving people masks.
Right.
The bare essentials.
Now, I got a comment here from Big Jim Carpenter. Now, he says, even with COVID, our job doesn't really change. And in the beginning, I really felt like that. When they started shutting things down, I'm like, look, as an institutionalized correctional officer, I'm not doing anything but going to work and coming home anyways. But, Roland, look at where we're at now. Do you feel, does the job feel different to you?
It really does. And I don't want to say anything about our facility, so it's going to be hard to say this. It's right now we have about a third of our staff is hit with this. And yeah, now you question everything, you touch everything. It's a very different environment now.
I feel like I feel like as correctional officers, right, we always are focused on threat perceptions. And when you have an inmate banging, kicking, screaming on the door, you know where your problem is. You can go in there and you can deal with that problem. But I don't want to sound too silly, but Russ, we're fighting an invisible enemy right now, and it's everywhere, right? I mean, that's that's a lot of stress.
Oh, absolutely. Day in and day out, your whole focus is about staying safe, and yet there's this thing that you really can't do much about. You can't see it. You don't know if it's slipping past your mask. You don't know if you're picking it up on your hands. But I've been really impressed. I got out before Corona hit, but I watch all my brothers and sisters and the ones that I keep track of with still, and watch them go into their job day in, day out, and not skipping a beat, and some of them, they end up developing a cough, and it's not Corona, but they're still, they're put out of their job for 2 or 3 days, and they're all chomping at the bit to get back. And yet there's something about in their eyes, though, that I think people are getting tired. So I hope that we're coming out of this soon.
I do too, man. Go ahead, Anthony.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Hey, Russ, 100%. You've always taught stuff where the threat's there. You can see it. Even if it's unknown, it's something we're trained for. When COVID came in, no one knows, what exactly to do. I mean, we're learning it now. But the sad thing is that I just want to see on a national level more consistency so we can build faith back into the front line, let the inmates see that we're going above and beyond. What gets me upset right now is even though we're struggling to go above and beyond and we're doing all those preventive measures, what gets me upset is there's this twist to get the inmates out, and they're making it look like we're not doing enough. So now what happens here, that twist gives us a hell of a lot to handle behind the wall when the inmates are watching the news and they swear to God that they're going to die tomorrow because, what's going on in the news. And I wish that someone could provide our perspective and say, wait a second, guys, these are all the methods that we're doing. We're doing our best. But at the end, all they got us doing is that we're scrambling, we're failing, and now we have to maintain that behind the wall. So if anybody outside, if you're in the news or if you're in the politics, whatever it is, be careful what you put out in that media because you don't realize something. We're cleaning up your mess and your lies. You got to know that. That's us every day scrambling,
right.
And that's us getting sick too. By the way, no one's talking about. I see all these inmates getting pushed to get released. What are we doing for staff? I mean, right now there's staff that can't even get covered if they have a cough and they don't know what it is.
Listen, Anthony. Those guys knew what they signed up for when they took that job, right? I mean, that's just part of their job. That's No, you're right. Those people. And Roland, maybe you can touch on this for me. Those people don't even know what we do. So
they really don't. It's we daily 4 or 5 guys inmate wise will come up and ask me, hey, can you tell me about COVID? I have a cough. Do you think I got infected? And right now with our facility, it's not really the population that's the issue. It's our staff. Our staff is decimated right now. And so you have the staff that's torn between, I'm a little sick, but I know everybody else is working 40 hours a week overtime. So I feel the need to go in, which, now we're infecting on top of infecting because we care about each other.
I will say, and that's a good point. And here's what people need to hear. And this is great because we're all correctional officers. We all get it, right? We know the people that call in sick because they're scheduled in a unit. We know the people that manipulate that system a little bit. But what I've seen in the last few months is people saying, you know what? I'm going to fight. I'm coming into work. I'm not going to stay home because if I stay home now, somebody else has to stay at work. And people are actually in the middle of the, we had civil unrest. We have still the coronavirus, all the other craziness that already happens. Correctional officers are still going to work, and I talked about this a couple weeks ago. The other people out there that are being touted as essential workers, brave heroes.
Yeah,
I mean that's great, but can we get a commercial? Russ, can we get a commercial? Have you seen a commercial for us, Russ? You're muted.
You're muted, Russ.
You're muted, Russ.
I'm muted. No, I have not seen a commercial. Maybe my penance will be to produce a commercial for us. But no, we're the only ones that recognize what we're doing I don't think that you see, our management or administrators, trying to put us out there. And just, if you're out there and you're typical law enforcement at the street level, you can distance yourself. Maybe not when you're making an arrest, but the rest of the time, I came out here the other day, we were having the fires again, right? And I saw one of the patrol guys come around. I didn't know if I knew him or not because he had a mask on. And so I looked at him like, hey, can I walk up to your car? And he was like, no, if you can just keep back. Everyone doesn't want to get this. And this guy didn't know me, but I was just like, it's crazy. They can keep their distance. When you walk in to, a 400-man housing unit or a 50-man dorm or all of that stuff, can you socially distance?
No.
Not at all.
In fact, prison and jail during this coronavirus shutdown, prisons and jails are the only place that you can still go hang out with people.
Yeah, hey, you know what? So Jim Carpenter, by the way, Jim, obviously he's been with us for some time now. We actually did a great show on human trafficking recently. He said in his comment, if I may, Will,
go ahead.
What's really changed? Before COVID, we cleaned. Now we clean a little more. Before we had medical intake, now we have a few extra steps. Before intake classification might happen in days, now it's in 2 weeks. Before we wore gloves some of the time, now we wear gloves all the time. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of what's changed because there is a lot, especially when you work at like maybe the bigger facilities, you may see it. One thing is that very limited traffic coming into the facilities right now. There's really no foot traffic coming in, not even from the civilian workers. They're going to be limited as to how many days a week they got to come in. All programs have been pretty much shut down because you can't put them all in one area. Social distance, but you can't, because sometimes the areas you get are small, so we don't have enough program going on. A lot of rec is being shut down, so the inmates are pretty much very limited in movement, which gets them rowdy. The grievances in JPAYs are the grievances in the the grievances are definitely increasing tenfold because there are some inmates that want to be out on early release. So when you pass these new laws, they're going to want to know: do I qualify? Do I qualify? Do I qualify? And the other avenue is you have the ones that, now someone coughed on me. I have a cough. So the medical department's very overwhelmed because not only are they dealing with the active COVID cases, but they're dealing with people that just have a cough or a sneeze. One of the other things is, I get some kickback. Maybe
I think it's your gigantic headphones. Maybe they're picking up something.
Your Princess Leia headphones.
I knew that was coming. So also, like as I said, so with medical, you're also running out of space too, because don't forget, every time you have to isolate an inmate, you have to put them somewhere. You have to, and then if you isolate one inmate, I'm sure there's 14 people that there could have been a possible exposure to, and then staff. If you get one positive case, you could have 30 or 40 staff members that were exposed. So you're running on a lot less numbers than you would. You're probably running on the skeleton crew of the skeleton crew. So having said that and having gone through this, a lot has changed. It's a tremendous scramble. But with that, all we can do is adapt and adjust, try to find some level of consistency if you can. But we tend to do, I think, is the best bet outside of, the preventive measures like, what you can with the temperature checks, the cleaning, having inmates, if they're in dorm, sleep foot to head, among other things. One of the other good things is providing education. Don't let the news media run. Educate. Be that balance. So if you know that there's a story coming out that's going to say this, get reality in there. Put something on like a central network so the inmates can see it and call staff in. Because sometimes our biggest threat sometimes not also what comes from the media, but what staff may think and then relay to the population, because inmates will be quick to hear what that staff member says, type it up, send it right to management, and now we're handling these like 30, 40 complaints in about 5 minutes about something that is so far from reality. So yeah, some things have changed.
So there, Jim, some things have changed.
Damn it, Jim!
You know what? Not only the policies and procedures wise, but man, I know that corrections is always controlled chaos. I mean, I know that we're always like just one sucker punch away from just all hell breaking loose. But it has in the last probably 6 weeks, and I know that we're getting it kind of in the middle of the country later than like Anthony you did and Russ on the coast, but it feels like it's slipping away a little bit. Have you guys seen the movie The Titanic? There's a part in there where Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet are in the car below, and they're starting to get a little frisky, right? That's where I usually feel, hey, how you doing?
Sorry, guys, they snuck in.
I love you all.
I know. Just say I love you. Just say I love you. And they gotta go. We're doing a show. We're live right now. And I love you guys.
You muted again.
Oh no, this I'll talk to the wife about that shit. No, I'm
No,
kidding.
no,
I'm
you
kidding.
won't.
I'm kidding.
No, you won't.
Not at all. Not at all.
Best part of the show so far.
That's right. In fact, we
What
should.
are you going to tell her, Anthony? You're not going to let her make your sandwiches anymore?
Listen, I don't wear the pants. You all know that already.
That's why we all work corrections, because none of us have control at home, so we have to do it there.
Brian loves the kids on the show. Is that the first time you ever had such young guests on your show?
Yes, that is. My daughter usually peeks her head in about 5 or 6 times during the live show, and she just stares at me, and like what are you doing, Dad? Why are these lights up and stuff? And it's like, no, this is 4 months of doing this now. You should know. But yeah, she just likes to see what's going on. So maybe one day we'll just have the kids do it and just be done. We'll all go get a drink. See, that's what when you meet. Look at.
Yeah, because I wanted to actually. I think that's actually a great idea. I actually I have taught my kids to obviously love what we do, love the profession. And then someone said, would you want your daughters to go in this profession? And I said, yes. If they chose this profession, yes. I know some people will say no, but I'll tell you why. For me, listen, first off, I love the profession. I'm not going to badmouth the profession. I am going to stick true to my guns. But there's something about the family that's behind this profession to me. Something about the closeness, that the bond that you're not going to get anywhere else. That's for me. That's what motivated me to stay. I had other offers, but there was something about the family setting behind that wall. Even with me now in the administrative level, man, when I was out of work for 2 weeks, they were calling me, staying connected. And then when I came in, hey, Gange, where you were? Where you been? I didn't dread going back to work like I thought it would. I think there is a closeness as long as you're sincere with it. There's some people that aren't sincere, obviously, but I really do like the closeness. I really do think there's a bond, and I don't think you're going to find that anywhere outside of what we do.
No, I agree with you. I think that, like I said, on the outside, I can't even get people to help me move a couch. But on the inside, I got people running, to me. If I have a problem, they don't even know what they're running towards. I mean, there's even the people that don't like me, aren't my drinking buddy inside, would still put their life on the line to save me. And I mean, you can't even get that at a family reunion,
That's for certain.
I agree with that because in the end, I always told people, I had 2 offers to leave the profession, and it was weird because when I could have made the decision for something that, at the time would have been a better position, but I'm glad I stayed, don't get me wrong. I realized, I felt like I was abandoning them. I don't know how to say that. I just felt that the move would have been selfish. It's crazy. And I always tell people here that this corrections is not just a just. When people say, what do you do? Oh, I just work corrections, or I'm just a correctional officer. You have to stop minimizing what you do. Guys,
Right.
This is part of the motivation that we were going to discuss, but we're our own worst enemy. When you get a chance to stand tall and say who you are, stand fucking tall and say who you are. I'm a correctional officer, that's it. And I'm a correctional officer, I'm going to be a police officer. None of that. I'm a correctional officer. This is what we do, because in the end, if you hold yourself in high regard, I will guarantee you that will be what is the gateway for other people seeing the profession the way it should be. Noble people doing a great job that must be done.
I got my buddy, a former coworker of mine, who was part of the incident that we were talking about before we went live. Adam, he's on here a lot. Adam told me a funny story this week. He checks in with me. He no longer works with us, but he's told me a couple things. Number one is that his job that he does now, his supervisor congratulated him for surviving the day. And he lost his shit. Not on him, but he's messaging me, and he's like, Bill, what does that guy mean, surviving the day, man? I'm a correctional officer. I've walked through the day room. I've done all this crazy stuff, and this guy says, you survived the day, and this is all I'm doing. I mean, so he thought it was ridiculous. And then he shared with me something. You talk about the family connection, Anthony, and the love that we have for each other. He says that he has dreams of sneaking back into the facility just to be with us. That he misses us that much. And man, when I heard that, I know what he's saying, man, because man, that is like when we called Sarah earlier, and when I text Roland back and forth and stuff. I mean, that's that love. You just can't get that anywhere else.
Hey, Bill, let me jump in on Adam. Even though he's and I know you're listening, Adam, so I want you to know that daily, and I mean daily, people are asking about you and wanting to know how well you're doing. Well, a lot of people, if they haven't reached out, will reach out, and even though they haven't reached out, they're still thinking about you. You are missed. It's that brotherhood inside the walls. We don't always show it. We don't talk about it like you were saying, Bill. You can't get somebody to help you move a couch. But that brotherhood inside the walls that we don't share with the outside world is strong, is deep. And Adam, you are missed, and people are thinking about you, and they're praying for you.
And Russ, that actually brings up a good point, if I may, Will. I'm sorry, man. I've been doing this for so long. If you don't mind, do you?
Listen, I was well prepared for what you were going to do tonight, Anthony.
Oh, sorry, man. Because you know what I was thinking, though? Because this is a great dialogue, real quick, because Russ has been out of the profession for quite some time. But actually, let me tell you something. First off, he retired after 27 and a half years, then went back into the profession to work with juveniles. So obviously there's a level of love that he has for his profession. And now he's, without going too specific, he's doing something that's still related to that. But Russ, there's something about you that wants to stay connected to this profession. What is that? Because you continue to do it. Even you could have let it go.
Anthony, I've often, tried to, peel back my own skull and see just exactly what's going on in there. I don't know. There's just maybe one single marble running around inside, but I think for me, it's really about the challenge. I always want to see how well I can do. And so when a new endeavor comes along, I like to, grab it and just try and see, what I can wrestle out of it, what I can teach myself. And then more than that, the beginning of my career was kind of really tumultuous for me. And it was really hard and it was really difficult. And not only did I not have anyone to come over and help me move my couch, it seemed like at work I didn't have anyone that was going to help me, crack the secret code to being a great correctional officer. And I kind of felt like I had to do that all on my own. So what I ended up doing was I ended up teaching myself a lot. I felt like I was always my own best trainer. And then I get to the end of my career. What am I going to do with all that knowledge? Am I going to forget it? Am I going to put it on the shelf? No, I decided I wanted to try and bring that to other people. And so this venue, your venue, everyone that I'm involved with gives me a chance to spread some of that around, gives me a chance to still interact, because I don't have any actual friends. No, I'm just kidding. But
me neither, Russ. Me neither, buddy.
It's all here on Facebook and YouTube. But no, it allows me actually to stay connected across the country with a lot of people that I haven't really met, but also a lot of people that I really have met that I used to work with, or that or that I've done projects with and stuff. So I tend to remain very anchored still inside the profession as it is. And I just love getting the chance to tell different people's stories and to provide a little context, provide a little training, and let especially those new guys, let them know they're not blazing any trails, right? I blaze those trails for them, and you know what? I am going to try and be the one to pass them that secret code of how to unlock their inner great correctional officer selves.
Well, that's important because there's a lot of there's no way that a young officer with brand new polished boots and a shiny badge can survive this profession without salty old crazy-eyed veterans helping him out, because I wouldn't have made it this far if it wasn't for those officers that took me under their wings, that helped me, that said, hey, maybe try it like this, or hey, that inmate that you were just talking to, he says that to everybody, and I was able to ask questions, and they were full of really good information. Even the ones that weren't, even the ones that were banging on my housing unit window saying, hey, what's going on back there, I took that information and I said, okay, I gotta take all this stuff that's floating around and I gotta learn to do it myself. But if you don't share that knowledge, then man, you're setting those new people up to fail. And I had an opportunity to speak to some new hires a couple of weeks ago, and it's just great, man. I have them stand up, say why corrections, and they're all smiley faces. They're all excited about the profession, and which excites me. But a part of me is really sad because I know that they're gonna get to the floor, they're gonna get to the facility, and they're going to get beat down quick. And a lot of that is from other staff. So, Roland, what are some of the things that you do that help mentor? Because you've told me about it. You've taken a couple of new people under your wing. First of all, why do you do it? And what are some things that we can all do that will help them out?
Oh, why do we do it? Well, it's just, I know when I started, there were a couple of guys, and I won't mention names, but they, it was their approach of, they didn't tell me I was doing it wrong, but they would point, hey, you could have went this direction. They did it in such a way, and it helped me when I started, and I was older when I started, but I followed around senior staff, and I soaked up the information. I just watched how they handled it, and I've stolen a lot of great lines from a lot of guys before me. But I wanted to ask Russ, when you're trying to, not trying, but when you're helping, when you're sharing the knowledge with new people, and you'll have some people that will take it, how do you handle the ones that I already know this? You know what I mean? They already know it all. How do you handle that? Even when you know they don't know it all.
Well, I think that you give them the opportunity to fail. I mean, if you withhold the information because they listen, coming out of the academy, they probably, especially if they have a criminal justice degree, man, they do think they know it all, and that's fine. But the reality will catch up with them really, really quickly. And so I like to just try to be available. And so they can come back and say, you're right. Versus, I don't want to be responsible for the guy who withheld information, because if you don't reach out, if you don't try to give them some help, that could lead to first, I could get hurt, not just them getting hurt, but I could get hurt running or breaking up a fight because they didn't handle a situation appropriately. So maybe, I don't know, Russ has 30 times the experience that I did, but how did you handle those new boots, man, that knew everything?
You're muted. Just leave it on there, Bill. Just cover your face with that thing.
I probably should. I'd get more views.
No, there's a couple different ways that you can approach it. I think it's just the simplest thing that you can do is just show them the error by letting them fail in front of you, and then being the one to say, look, no, this is the way it's done. Whether it's a way to get cooperation from an inmate, whether it's a way to, to show them, look, you thought that you knew what you were doing searching this dorm. What about these 5 shanks? The other way that you can do is just by working them to death. And that's the one I sometimes resort to. And they have, 2 choices. As a supervisor, I'm going to tell them what I need done, and I'm not going to let them stop, until they figure out one way or another that it's easier to go ahead and accept the help and do what's being asked of them. Or if I'm doing it from the peer perspective, I just see if they can keep up with me or not. And after about the first hour where they can't keep up with me and they've had enough, then they start to listen.
I just can't figure out why people get into this profession and think they know everything because I knew, I mean, I watched Oz. That was my reference point for corrections coming in. So I was like, okay, I know who Tobias Beecher is. I watched him go through all of this. This is what I think corrections is. And then when I got into that housing unit and that door shut behind me, I was like, holy shit. So I'm not sure. I mean, maybe a sociopath, but when you walk, I mean, I don't know how anybody can walk a yard or walk through a housing unit surrounded by, just craziness and be like, yeah, I know. Because as a 16-year guy, Russ, I'm sure as a 300-year veteran, there are things today that you didn't know about yesterday. I mean, you learn in this job every single day. So there's no way you can possibly know everything. So, I mean, I don't know. Anthony, what is there a disconnect between training and the real job? Or are we setting these guys up to fail or what?
Well, let's do this. So we have the reactionary, right? So this is what you have in the moment. This is what we do. So I'm management. Let's do preventive, right? I'm going to go right after the academy on this one. I want the academy to let the rookies that are going in, I want them to let them know this is who you be working with and make sure that they have respect for experienced staff. I'm also going to say let them have respect for the civilian staff. Let them get respect for the job that has to be done. Sometimes, unfortunately, when the academy right now, it evolves. And sometimes what happens is you get these instructors that wind up bragging about where the academy is now as opposed to where it was 10, 15 years ago. And what that does, that actually it implies that the officers that are behind the wall now that have been doing the job for 24, 25 years are not at the same level as these rookies who haven't done the job for a day. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the academy first, and I'm going to make sure that they're doing whatever they can to get that respect for senior staff. That's one thing. The next thing, when it's behind the wall, I'm going to agree with you guys 100%, but there's a little bit of a caveat to that, and I know we're all on the same page. I don't believe in the sink or swim,
Right.
So there may be some mistakes where, I will tell you one thing, we're not going to allow it to happen, but we may rip that rookie apart.
Sure.
I may not allow you to feel, but I'm going to let you know this is what you did, and this is what could have happened, and it's not going to be a friendly dialogue. Like, if I have someone that's willing to learn, and you partner them with someone that wants to teach, it's a beautiful dance. We talked about that before. It's tremendous. And you can see the effort. You can see that you're giving them a level of expectation and they're trying to reach it. That's one approach, and that's great. But when you get someone who just walks in thinking that the senior staff who has worked behind the wall for 25 years is giving you this knowledge that you're probably going to lose out because this guy's getting ready to retire, this woman's getting ready to retire, and you don't treat that like gold, first of all, that's the biggest sign of disrespect. But I'll tell you something right now. If I got word of that as management, that this person's just resistant to anything that's coming his way or her way, I'm going to be zero tolerance with all levels of discipline because, first off, you're not even taking in what we're doing. You're doing things on your own. And second thing is that you're being disrespectful to the people who are teaching you how to do this job. So, again, I think management could put something on that when it comes to what's set up from the beginning. Get them at the initial. Get them right at the beginning, and, then you could weed out a lot of them, but then you're still going to have probably those assholes that, there's nothing you can do with them.
Listen to this. Brian says all rookies think I like this is one of the best. This should be on a t-shirt. Listen. All rookies think they have something to prove, not necessarily to learn.
Can we comment on that?
Yeah, please do.
Hey, Russ, remember, Russ, we dealt with this. Russ touched on something, too. Actually, there's a great book out there called Mastery by Robert Greene. I read all his books. One of the things he says that when you first enter the field, be an apprentice. Don't look to show off. That's not the time. The time right now is to be an apprentice and work your way to that level of mastery, which we never really get, but we strive to be. But take the first couple of years, not to impress, but to learn the job. Learn the job. Russ, we've had that discussion.
Yeah, you have to. If you're in the right frame of mind in corrections, you should be absorbing that. I've written this probably 200 times. people out there in different forums, and they always say this: I'm starting the academy, or I'm starting at a facility day after tomorrow. What are some tips? I go, well, you know what? First of all, you ask the question a little bit late in the game.
Yeah.
Exactly. But since you did ask the question, which actually is great in and of itself, this is what I always tell them: seek out the subject matter experts. Find the guy or the girl that knows firearms, the one that knows searching, the one that knows use of force, the one that knows handcuffing, the one that knows gangs, the one that knows report writing, and pick their brains, and then become a subject matter expert in as many of those things as you can yourself, and then pass it on. Because if you can't pass it on, you don't have mastery.
Now, here's my question, Roland. I want you to answer this. Do you think the culture of toughness inside of a correctional facility plays into those rookies and the way they behave when they come in?
I'm going to say that's their personality coming in. If you come in as a tough guy, you're not going to learn the communication skills, because that's all you know is how to do it with your hands. I don't think we stress enough the communication aspect of it, the motivational interviewing. I think corrections is moving in that direction. It's less of the we'll handle this off camera. It's moving more towards the motivational interviewing, the talking, the communicating. Like we were talking earlier with that the suicidal kid that you dealt with. If you didn't have the communication skills that you have, you wouldn't have saved that life that night. So I think it's the personality of the staff coming in. They're either going to want to communicate or they're going to want to fight.
That's a great comment, because that's something that Anthony says a lot. He says you got to know yourself before you go in. And if you come in and you put on that uniform and you hit the floor or you hit the yard thinking, okay, now I've got to try to be somebody that I'm not. I got to try to be this because I think Anthony wants me to be that way. I got to be this way because I see Roland and Russ and they're doing this. And you're not being true to yourself. I think that a lot of, and I see newer staff. They want to be the first one in the cell. They want to, they want to slam that inmate to the ground. They want to do these things because I think that they think they're proving themselves to us, when in reality that's not the case.
Again, just to touch on something, we've this is definitely something that we can revisit again. Communication is obviously key. We talked about that, and it's funny because you don't realize how good an officer is at communication until you definitely become a supervisor, and you don't want it to go to that level. There are many times where you're getting ready for that cell extraction as a supervisor, the paperwork, the liability, and you're looking for that officer like William Young who, hey, and it's funny because the peers may not see that at that point. So we actually covered a while back how important it is to recognize that as a peer. You want to motivate that because, believe it or not, you don't want to go into those cell extractions. You want to de-escalate because the liability, even at a management level, higher than the frontline supervisor, the lawsuits that are going to happen, because I'll guarantee you every cell extraction is going to have a lawyer out there that is, they're going to want to micromanage it. At this point, man, even if you move an inch, you're going to be opened up for a tremendous lawsuit. So for those of you that are in the field right now that may not understand the power of communication, Roland, Will, Russ, spot on. Because as a supervisor, especially as administration, I find that there is more of an accommodation to, hey, you're able to talk him down. That's a great job, Lieutenant. That's a great job. Which officer was that? That was a great job. Let's get him something. Because look what that could have prevented.
Listen, we're gonna win the physical fight. If there's a guy in the cell, we're gonna suit up 6 guys. They're gonna go in. They're gonna blast him. We're gonna win that fight, right? But to me, there is no greater. Listen, I had a kid a few months ago who he was dealing with an individual, and they were screaming at each other. It was totally out of control. So I stepped in. I got between him and the inmate, because I've known the inmate for 10 years. He's been coming in and out. I put him in his room. I got him secured, and I told that officer, I said, "Hey man, I don't know. Listen, I know what you think you were doing, but that's not what you were doing." And he, his response was not the best. And I said, "Well, here's the deal, man. If I get hurt, because I'm old, man, I hate hitting the ground. If I get hurt because you can't shut your mouth, then we're gonna have a problem." I said a little more, better than that, but not much. But but fast forward a couple of weeks ago, I watched that officer deal with an individual who was kicking and banging in his cell. And this dude, by the book, communicated with him, got him to knock it off, no hands on, and I looked at that. I said, man, that was good. That was beautiful, because there's no, to me, to be able to do that, to have now he can be that officer that I can call when I'm at an impasse, and I can call and he can make sure that we all go home safely. I mean, that's a beautiful thing to do.
Yeah, I also think that, one thing that some of these young boots don't catch on to too quick is that you're going to be presented with challenges, and there's no way to avoid those challenges. So why make those challenges harder than need be? You're going to have the chance to go in on the cell extractions. You're going to have to handle things with physical force. You're going to have to de-escalate things. You may as well be well-rounded in all of it, right? Is there any reason to make everything a physical use of force? No. Is there a time and place to try and make everything about de-escalation? No. Right? Because not everything can be de-escalated. So just accept the challenges as they come to you, and don't think that you have to be that, hard ass all the time. There's a time and place to be a hard ass, and there's a time and place to come back and regroup, re-strategize, de-escalate, and do all of those other things that you need to be able to do when you're a well-rounded, well-seasoned, well-respected, well-established, well-experienced correctional officer.
No, go ahead, Anthony.
Oh, sorry, I apologize. So look what this panel just said. This is great. Don't be an asshole. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. I want to share a story real quick. No, because that's what it is. A lot of people, you know what it is? My degree is in psych, right? So a lot of the pressures we get are from external. It's from the environment and us thinking that they want us to do something that necessarily may not be what it's there. It's just whatever this impression that you think is. So right now, you have these experienced experts right now, and obviously look at the community in agreement with us that says we don't want the assholes. We don't want people to, we don't want to have an us versus them mentality. That's really not how you want to have an environment in correction. I want to share a story too real quick. So when I started working at the female facility, females tend to be a little bit more mouthy. They tend to challenge orders a little bit more. But with that said,
I hope your wife didn't hear that, dude.
Oh, she will. No, she will. But the thing is, it is a different environment. You definitely learn how to communicate in a female facility, because as a male, you're definitely not trying to go quickly to a use of force. You really don't. You're going to try to be tolerant to some level and really strengthen that level of communication. And if that's exhausted, then whatever has to happen. But with that said, I used to have this female that would challenge everything, young girl, that I'd give her an order, she would challenge it. But she would mouth off, but she would still do it, And in the process, the order's getting done, but I'm still thinking, like, every time she mouths off, every time she says something foolish, because she's coming at me, not like disrespectful, but like, well, yeah, disrespectful, but not like I'm going to kill you, none of that shit, not aggressive, but like, it's just fucking bullshit, blah, 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 whatever it is. But she's doing the job. I used to think that every time she would, mouth off, that I'm losing a little bit of my authority. So I would go back and forth with her while she's doing the job, not realizing that actually every time I'm communicating back to her, I'm actually losing that level of authority. So the senior officer's just watching me. He's a good dude. He's watching me. And then when it's done, he goes, let me ask you a question. He goes, you think you've accomplished anything? I said, yeah. I said, I know she's doing the order. That's one thing, but I'm not going to let her get those little side remarks out. For some reason, it irked me at that time because I was young, man. I was 24, 25, right? So he goes, you know what? Let me just tell you something. Here's what you're not looking at, okay? Because you're so focused on her. Look behind her. they're motivating her to do it, and she's doing it. You know, she's being influenced by the environment. He goes, next time what you're going to do is, when you go to give her that order, call her into the office and give it to her. There's no one else in the background. You know, you may find that you have a totally different inmate. You know, again, pulling the inmate away from their group. So I did that. The next day I called the girl in the office. I remember she shuts the door. She's like, oof, I'm just tired of this shit. Tired of this. I said, you are. So we wind up having this really good rapport. But the reason why I'm saying this story is I think a lot of rookies or a lot of people that think they need to be tough is because they think that we want to see that all the time. That's not the case. You know, we want to see you be professional. We want to see you handle your job. Yes, don't get me wrong, but it's not us versus them. That, you know, work on that communication, because to the end, I think we all said it here. You know, it becomes a headache and a hassle, guys, to have to deal with this every day. You come in and it's like you're going to mouth off. Because I've seen senior officers, you know, take an officer aside, never in front of the inmate, and check the officer on how they spoke to the inmate. And then that rookie officer will then go ahead and tell, you know, yeah, man, that officer is so soft. He's like, what are you talking about? Russ got 20-something years in. He just said he's not beat for the shit.
Hey, Roland, I've seen you shoot the shit with countless inmates. In fact, when I go through and I talk, I follow up after your shift and put out all the fires you started. They talk about how they enjoy the communication, the back and forth. And there aren't a lot of newer staff that value that. So why do you think, why is it important for you, and why is that the tactic that you use when you're working?
I know I don't like being barked at, so I try not to bark at them. And going back to Anthony, I've seen a lot of back and forth. My thing, you tell a new officer, if you're going to yell F you to a unit, you better be willing to put that in your report. My thing is, if you're going to use language that's unacceptable, if you're going to talk to the population in an unacceptable way, you better be willing to put that in a report. So if you can't put that in a report, you shouldn't say it. But you also, and I've seen you do it, Bill, you build that rapport. Because at some point, and we've all seen an officer go down, inmates come to their rescue, it's a rapport. And it's a respect thing also. I try and give them as much information as I can without breaching safety and security. I always equate our jobs to a teacher in a classroom. You have 30, well, you know, I'm students, but you have 60 inmates watching you. The only communication they have is what you tell them. They are locked in a room. They're locked in a dorm. They don't know anything that's going on in the outside world unless you tell them. And they're watching everything you do. So an informed population is usually a lot better. You know what? Next week we're going to start shutting down 2 hours early. So we explain to them a week ahead so we don't get that unrest. They're all on a schedule. They're all on a routine. You interrupt their routine. You screw up their routine. Now you've got anxiety in the mind. My thing is, if I can communicate and keep the anxiety level down, we're all going to have a good night.
Right. No, I agree. You set the tone. When you go through and you communicate with a population like that, you, as an officer, you can set the tone, and you can come in. If you come in way up here and you're barking, and first of all, that's crazy because you're surrounded by individuals that are under an insane amount of stress. At any moment, the shit can catch fire. I mean, that's just all it is. So I just, it really kind of freaks me out when people just start way up here. But if you're down here and you're communicating and you're, here it is, you treat people like people, then you tend to get that back. Even when things go really bad, you still get that respect, and there's still inmates out there that will say, hey, not with this guy, or hey, we're not going to, we're going to listen because this guy's never given us bad information before.
You get a better response from asking as opposed to telling.
Yeah, and you know what? To touch on that, I think we've all familiar with the term of fire starters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the officers that come in and rouse stuff up, but they're not in the unit the whole day. They may come and do the break,
right?
And then you come back in, and your unit's in an uproar. And it's like, at one point I may talk to the officer when I was an officer one-on-one, say, listen, man, I don't know what just happened, but work with me next time if you're going to be here. Now, if the officer still does it the next time, I literally, because I just, it messes with my day. I think unit officers are one of the toughest jobs. There's no escape,
right?
And when you have a smooth day, you want that smooth day. When you have that officer that comes in that riles it up, I'll give them that chance. But then they come back and kind of like when you're taking break, keep with the rhythm I got. Don't come in and leave me with a bunch of charges that you're going to be out the door for,
right?
And then screw me over because you're, as I said, unit officers, again, outside of emergent, they maybe handle things with slight bit of discretion. I may not be that officer that has to write things because I got that communication going, and again, non-emergent. I can handle things by just communicating, which is a blessing to all supervisors, trust and believe, unless you have to write something, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But if I give that officer the benefit of the doubt the first time, and that officer does my break the second time and still rouse up the inmate, I will literally, because I've done this, I will call the supervisor and say, listen, here's what's going to happen. Here's my keys. Give it to this officer here. I'm going to go be the GA for now, and he can finish everything that, he started because I'm done.
Hey, Russ, did your foundation, your working relationship that you developed over the years with your population, did it ever get you out of any intense situations because you had that rapport?
Oh yeah, definitely. When you have some kind of rapport, and boy, I'm not one of those guys that goes in and I'm building rapport all the time and never getting any of it back. But I could go in and talk to inmates and get them to do my bidding if necessary. I had one day where I had I want to say it was probably like 10 or 12 cadets on my yard, and the cadets went into this one dorm. They did a good job of searching and everything. It wasn't perfect, but anyway, they all came out. And guess what? One of the cadets was missing his flashlight. And so, anyway, that was a bad situation. The worst thing about it is that we had ended up generating some fairly low level disciplinary reports over some things that were found in there. Nothing earth shattering. But you know what? I knew that it was going to turn into a big thing about having to do mass searches and everything. And so I went to the inmates. I said, hey, look, pretty much I taught the cadets what they needed to know today. Now I'm going to teach them a really valuable lesson about communication. That is, if you guys are all on the same page with me. So what I need is that flashlight and some of this other stuff that happened today. We're going to find a way to hold you guys accountable and yet make sure that it's just a lesson learned for you and that you're not hurt on the paper side of it. And so I got the flashlight back within about 2 minutes, and it came in handy. I don't bargain with everything in that. I don't bargain for inmates to behave themselves, but sometimes there's a time and place where you have to pull out all the stops to be able to move the chains forward.
But see, here's the problem, Russ, and a lot of people. I don't know if a lot of people watching this would say that, but when you're talking about bargaining, and I know that there's someone that'll listen to this that'll be like, oh, I would have just shook down the shit again, and I would have. But here's the thing, you have to have a working relationship with the population. You're outnumbered all the time, and you cannot force a group of individuals to do anything if you don't have that mutual respect. I mean, you can force them, I guess, but it's a lot easier to just communicate, to talk, and ultimately at the end of the day, if I get what I want from it, cigarette lighters, cigarettes, the flashlight, whatever it is, then I feel like I won, right? I mean, there's a lot of officers that I encounter that if they don't end up on the ground in handcuffs, they don't feel like they won. And I think that we have to change that mentality a little bit because that's kind of a dangerous situation.
I do want to add on that, but I don't know, Roland has something first at all? Or?
No, go ahead.
All right, so, okay, now, by the way, we did a show recently where I want people to realize something too. There's stuff that senior officers can do that rookies can't do.
Right, right.
And I think part of this here is also here. I like the word bargaining as opposed for favor. Russ was still able to take control of that interaction with that inmate, by saying, okay, we'll do this, and in return, maybe I'll see what I could do here and there. But the last thing you want is to go up and say, hey, give me the flashlight, and then they give you the flashlight. Now you're, in debt to the inmate. Russ quickly balanced that out. I want people to make sure they see that in the dialogue that we just had, where Russ said this, you give me the flashlight, and this is what we'll do with what here. And that's within Russ's discretion as a senior officer to do that. I just want to make sure that we get it out there that at no time we want to be obligated. And that's why Russ was quick to put that secondary. I don't want people to miss that. The secondary action, which I feel is a discretion from a senior officer, and they have an ability to, I think they have more of an ability to do that because they've developed some more experience. Russ, that's why you particularly put that in there, correct?
Yeah, I can't put myself in a position where I'm bargaining with inmates all day, all the time, because I won't do that. I know that some people don't like to think of this as an adverse relationship, but it really is, because ultimately I'm going to have things happen on that unit that are going to be, in terms of life and death and riots and stabbings and assaults and all kinds of things. So I can't go down that road. If the road I choose is to be, a hard-ass asshole all the time, I'm not going to make much headway on doing some of the other things and keeping things safe. I'm not going to be able to develop sources. I'm not going to be able to, have, inmates be more compliant. And I'm going to be fighting a really strong headwind all the way.
Yeah,
so,
because Russ, think about this though, real quick, just to get it out there. Think about the difference between you bargaining, the perspective, obviously, of how the inmates see you as bargaining, as opposed to how they see a rookie in desperation begging.
No, I got a great here's a great story for that, Anthony, and this is, so we have a housing unit that is like, you have to work. We have housing units that you could really stay on the podium all day and do nothing, and they'll run themselves. And then you have housing units that you actually have to pretend you're a corrections officer, right? And so we had a really good team, a really good group of officers that were rotating in this unit. Boom, boom, boom. And we had it to where we didn't have to yell to clear the day room anymore. When MedPass came in, whatever, we would just flip the lights. We would just click the lights, and that was it. For years, for 2.5 years, I was on this floor. Click the lights. I didn't even have to raise my voice. We just had him conditioned. Boom, boom, boom. Right? So we get this new guy in, and we're training him. And I said, hey, it was going to be his first day in that unit. And I said, look, buddy, for years, these guys have been clearing just by flipping the lights a couple of times. They'll go in. You don't have to yell. Don't worry about it. Just do it. So we're sitting out in the office, and it's lockdown time. And the sergeant picks up the phone, and she goes, you did what? You did what with the lights? They're not doing what? And I'm like, oh shit, I better get in there, because, and that was my mistake, because he flipped the lights and they just ignored him. They're like, nah, we're not. What is this? What does flipping the lights mean? So yeah, that rapport, veteran staff versus new staff doing stuff. It's not always going to work.
Respect.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. Even as we go through these topics, that we wind up always going back to like people that are newer on the job, and the rookies that are coming in, because I think that this channel right here, yes, it's great for experienced officers, but when me and Russ, and I think Will, we had the dialogue too, it's tough to get those with experience to spend 16 hours behind the wall and then come back and watch a show about what they just left behind. So, I mean, when I realized that, I was like, you know what? I would love for them to watch it. But in the meantime, if you're a rookie and you're coming into this profession, I would definitely say you should be watching it.
But here,
you know what I mean?
But here's where, and you're right. And I kind of agree, but kind of disagree, because here's the thing. I think that guys like us, guys in the middle of our career, guys and girls in the middle, like we're too far in to leave, and we're almost at the finish line. I need to talk. I need to hear stuff, because I want to know if I'm struggling with something. I want to know that Russ is struggling with it too. I want to know that Russ has been through that. I want to know that Roland has a similar issue with me. And so, yeah, it is crazy. It's like, hey, we're all off tonight. What are we going to do? Let's sit around and talk about work, and we're going to expect all of our coworkers who are just living through bullshit right now to sit down and listen to it. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that now programs like Tier Talk, Facebook groups like Keepers of Chaos, my little tiny podcast, why we try to do this is because we're trying to give you a safe platform to have your voice, to exchange ideas with other officers, because we cannot make it through this profession without the knowledge, without the experience, without the support of other correctional officers. So why do you want to talk about corrections? Well, because every time you guys get together, you talk about corrections anyways. It always comes up. It doesn't have to be the genesis of the conversation, but it will come up. And that's okay, because that's what we do. We don't work at a bank when it's time to shut the lights off and go home. It's just time to go home, right? We work in a profession that changes us physically, emotionally, mentally. It changes our family. It changes the way that we look at the world. So just like when you were brand new and they showed you how to do tactical handcuffing, right? You went home and you practiced, or you got a set of cuffs and you do it because you're super excited. You're super excited. You need to talk about this. You need to exercise your demons. You need to work through these things to get rid of some of the stress and to exchange ideas, because you never know who's listening. You never. So Anthony, that's why your show, that's why what you guys are doing, what Russ is doing, and Roland at work when he talks to other officers. I mean, that's the meat and potatoes of it, man. We have to be there because people outside don't know, and they don't care. I've had people tell me that nobody cares about corrections. I care about corrections. We care about corrections. And so listen to it today if you want to. If you don't want to, then that's fine. But I'm always going to be here for you to exchange ideas, to give you a little piece of me to help you through what we're going through. And I think that's what you're doing too, Anthony.
Because you want them to know they are not alone.
Yeah, that's very powerful, Roland. I think what's here is that the reason what motivates me to maybe watch something about corrections, I know that being in a position of influence, because at one point, I'm just vlogging the vlog, and next thing you know, you get 34,000 followers here, 14,000. I said, I better myself then, because if I don't better myself, then I'm not doing any good to anybody else. So at night, I'm going through the videos. I'm watching everything that you put up, everything that Russ puts up, everything from all different correctional stuff that come up, even some that are written from or by former inmates, because I know that if I better myself, I have a chance, because of influence, to help better other people who are interested in what we do, whether it's from the profession or on a greater scale, the perception of the profession. But as I said, I think right now, for those who, for those that feel they need to take a break when they get home, I may understand the people that are kind of in the struggle. And yes, I believe that they should watch it if they can. But if you're a rookie and you're in the field and you're just learning, this is the stuff you need to be taking advantage of, because this wasn't out here before, right, guys. There was no Tier Talk. There was no Saturday Night Synopsis. And by the way, I think Will's expertise outside of what we're doing here are those quick 10-minute videos that are informing you while entertaining you. They're phenomenal videos that I'm sure will circle its way around. Don't forget, no one's an overnight success here on YouTube. What we have here is channels that we provide that's motivated by information. I'm looking up something and there it is, and then maybe, I like Gangi stuff, and then they'll binge watch, or I like Will stuff, then I'll binge watch. But it's not that we don't talk about trending topics. We talk about, this would be a great topic, but, who's searching for, I'm trying to think of some of the unique topics that we've had in the course of I have over 750-something videos. So, no one's searching for it. But in the end, the great thing is that we're creating a legacy that wasn't available before. Right. And if you're new or get ready to enter and you don't take advantage of this, take advantage of senior staff who's coming out, who if it wasn't for this right now, Russ would be retired. All his information would be lost. Everything. Roland right now wouldn't be able to share anything, or anything outside of the jail, that he's in. This is providing stuff on such a great scale that if you don't sit there and absorb it. And one last thing, if I may, is that this is a career.
Right.
I don't care what you want to do tomorrow. This is your now. So if you're in the now, stay focused in the now. And when people give you information like this, absorb it and not get, oh, this is too frustrating. I'll be a police tomorrow. Because that may never come. It may never come. But in the meantime, this is reality.
No, I love it. I love it, Anthony. I love it. The thing is this. The reason that we are doing this kind of work and this topic and the reason Russ puts out the stuff that Russ puts out and moderates his page the way he moderates it is because we want to give you solid information. We want to give you tools that'll help. Look, we could sit here right now and we could bitch for 45 minutes about how inmates piss us off or how administration fucks us over every chance they get. And people would agree, and they'd froth at the mouth, and they'd comment, and it'd be, thousands and thousands of views. But that's not how we're going to get through this. And so that's why we're trying to provide the information that we're trying to provide. And he's right. Russ, when I had Russ on my show and he talked about all the contraband and all the stuff that he got, I mean, look around your facilities. Find the guys like that. If you're brand new and you're watching, and even if you're not, if you're in the middle of your career, continue to learn from those kind of people, because those are the people that are going to save your life. There's going to be something, some information, some interaction that's going to be like, yeah, man, this is. I'm glad I learned that today.
Yeah, and just again, me. As soon as I see there's dead air, I try to squeeze in.
Why you got to be comfortable with silence, man.
Yeah, I'm never really comfortable with silence.
Why? Let's try it. Let's try it real quick. Just everybody be quiet real quick. Ready? Just for Anthony. Ready?
My turn.
It's a great learning skill.
I was actually going to ask Russ something. It's basically in to compliment what William said. Hey, Russ, if it wasn't for these venues right now, would you feel that 29 years or almost 30 years of this profession, I think you would have lost a sense of yourself. I really do. Would you feel that if you would have a way to vent stuff, your experience, what you've learned in 30 years, a way to use it, to give people, to give it back?
Yeah, I felt, for whatever reason, and I'll admit this, I identify myself in my own brain as being a correctional officer. I spent so many years doing it. I spent a lot of years developing the skills that I had. I was just that guy that deep inside me, I always felt like, man, I have to prove myself again today. I didn't feel like I could ever, ride on my laurels. I didn't feel like I could, well, you know what, maybe all of this contraband that I've found in the past 10 years, maybe that's all a fluke. Maybe I won't find another shank for the rest of my career. And then I have to go out and prove myself wrong. I'm sometimes my own worst taskmaster. So, I think that, these venues, they give me an outlet because, sometimes I'm just scrambling and hustling and, wanting to talk to some people and pass some knowledge along. And so, this is maybe my therapy in a way.
That's a good way to put that.
What's funny right now? I'm watching, so I can get the comments. I'm watching it on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Has anybody ever seen Spaceballs?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
What is it? This is now. What happened to then? We passed then. When? Now. This is now. Because I'm trying to figure out where the hell. This is like 5 minutes past.
I know people are commenting shush, and we did that 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Hey, we're in the future. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what I say next.
Hey, what's in that coffee mug, man? That's what I want to know.
It's actually done now. Iced coffee. It was.
I don't know. You fell asleep last time Russ talked. Your eyes were closed. Your head was down.
No, I was trying to read the comments. I've been commenting a lot, but then I didn't know where I was. So, and then I was like, wait a second. But yeah, it's pretty. This was a great dialogue, and obviously the community that you've developed Bill, is a very respectful and professional community. Great. Just if we can give some shout outs, we know these individuals: Greg Moore, Eric Bernard, Adam Gillespie, Sarah Zimmerman's been tagging along with us. Let me see, Harold. Where's he? Eric Ketzer, Harold Moore, Jim Carpenter, of course. I mean, these are also what they don't realize. They help us create the content that helps others. If it wasn't for them,
right,
we couldn't do what we do. So obviously, big shout out to the people. Even if it's 18, 21, it doesn't matter. It's very important to have this community. We couldn't do it.
I agree. Here's the problem. See, tonight I had zero script, zero questions, because I knew no matter what I tried to have you do, Anthony, that you were going to do whatever you wanted to do. So, but then I'm so used to being on your show that after I say something, I'm waiting for you to come up with another question or something. So that's why the dead air happens, because I'm like, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I'm the host. Okay. Back to you, Roland. You want to just repeat what Anthony said and add your 2 cents to it? I mean,
I'm sorry, I quit listening about 5 minutes ago.
Fuck it. And you know
not
what?
On the feed that Anthony's watching. You're still doing
Wait,
something
guys,
else.
I'm not even upset because I saw that already happen on Facebook.
The now.
Yeah, right. We're in the now.
Right. That's very good.
Instead of the then, whenever.
Yeah, the then whatever.
All right.
Oh man,
you guys, this has been fantastic. Anthony, you were my first live guest. So this did not disappoint. We brought the crew on. I got the Batman and Robin of the correctional world, and then I brought my Green Lantern up in the corner there. And
the weakest one, yeah. Thanks.
Is it Green Lantern the weakest one?
Yeah, nobody watched that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Will, be honest with you, that was kind of fucked up.
But that's okay, because I antagonize him daily, so that's his one shot that he got in. That's all right.
It was like, hey, you got Batman and Robin, and you got the fucking Green Lantern over here. His movie was the worst in the box office.
But look how it lined up, though. Look at if everybody at home can just play real quick and look at the 4 boxes. 3 of these things are the same, and one of them is a little different. Anthony, pull up your thing and see.
Yeah.
See, there's one of us that are different. And
you guys want me to show it?
Yep, show it.
I can show it. Here, let's show it. Here you go. Can you see it?
Okay, what's the difference? Oh. Does anybody know?
I have no idea.
No. Well, everybody has a really good mustache except me. In fact, the mustaches on Russ and Roland's side are a little bit heavier. They're actually getting ready to tip the screen that way.
Hey, I got an email from somebody, Michael Cushman. I'll check the email, Mike.
No, hey, he's doing a show, Mike. Thanks a lot.
Hey, you know what I was thinking, Will? If it's okay, because if there's anybody, if Will has, like,
I've lost control.
Actually, I had a sentence here. It's coming out.
Okay, go ahead.
Will had a great idea for this podcast where he was asking for people to recommend people that may deserve a shout out, whether it's coming from the agency or whatever it is. I think that's a great idea, and I think that's something that we should do more of. So, guys, you know, I would love to share a successful story, and I think Will would definitely. And I was also thinking one day if we could have this discussion, because we did yesterday or the other day. I think we should come back on your channel and devote, and yes, guys, I'm being serious because we have to learn this, and we'll make it a more serious topic, an hour and a half to how to treat transgenders behind the wall. It's time. It's time, guys.
You just did a show on that.
We just did a whole show on that.
Yeah, but we have to do it again. We have to get the message across.
Have you seen my emails, Anthony?
We have to get the message across, because if we don't do this,
well, I would, Anthony. Listen, I would, but I'm going to actually. This is going to be the last Saturday night synopsis that I do. I'm going to devote the rest of my time to showing people how to escort inmates and just do tactical handcuffing. I'm going to switch my expertise. Yeah, that's all it's going to be. I just want to show people how to do handcuffing from now on. And I'm going to do it like this. Welcome to the Saturday Night Synopsis, where tonight we're going to learn how to handcuff a combative inmate. Step 1, drink a protein shake. Step 2, watch the movie Roadhouse while you're doing push-ups without a shirt. Step 3, take a massive amount of pre-workout before you report to your facility. Step 4, and just go on and on. I think it'll be great.
This week's Saturday Night Synopsis, turn off the lights, turn on Marvin Gaye. We're talking about Handcuff.
But you have to introduce yourself as, hello, I'm Bill.
I'm Bill, and tonight on the Saturday Night Synopsis, we're going to talk to Anthony Gange about transgender inmates.
Oh, my God. No, but the reason why...
Oh, you know what we should actually do?
What?
We all need to come back here and do your show again, and each one of us have like 2 good stories that illustrate a point.
No, because that would be a format, Russ, and we're allergic to format on this show.
But we're only going to do it one time, so it's not a format.
Roland, do you have any last words for the? I got to get out of here. I'm sweating. I'm sweating to death. I wore pants tonight is the problem, and I'm sweating. And I got to get out of here. Roland, give us some. I'm going to give everybody last words. Anthony, you're going to be last. So we're going to go Roland, Russ, Anthony, me, and then we're going to get out of here. Okay, Roland.
Time for final thoughts.
Final thoughts with Roland.
I just anybody watching this,
Lean closer.
this is what I do to his Ring doorbell.
Yeah, my doorbell looks like a Beastie Boy video when this guy comes over.
I always got to get up there and do a retinal scan before it'll let me in. If anybody's out there watching these things, just know you're not alone. And if you need to talk, I think any 4 of us on here, that you can reach out. I know I'll talk to anybody, anywhere, anytime. Because Bill can tell you about the inmates. Oh God, here he comes. He's going to tell another story. If anybody needs to reach out, anybody's going through anything, if you just want to talk, just reach out. I'm always available. But that's all I got.
Good, Russ.
I just want to say thanks for having us on, but I got to get back to something you said a minute ago that I'm still trying to unencrypt or whatever. You said that you wore pants tonight. That's
correct.
Does that mean you don't normally wear pants?
No, I don't. I usually wear
Is it lacy?
Huh?
Is it lacy?
I don't know who Lacey is. No, it's no. Look,
other than pants. Oh my gosh!
So I'm just wearing my shorts tonight, Russ.
Okay.
But usually those are even an option because that's why I do just the top. I find a black shirt, throw on a black shirt, throw on my hat, and that's what it is. And usually I'm not wearing pants in videos anyways because Anthony calls me at like 10 o'clock in the morning and says, hey, we're doing a show in 30 seconds. In 30 seconds, I need you to be ready. I've got sleep in my eyes. I'm like, my throat is scratchy. And I'm like, yeah, but when are we going to do the show? Now. I'm doing the show now. Let's go now. And I'm like, man.
Anthony's 30 seconds are not like 30 seconds from now. And they're not even 30 seconds from then. They're like 30 seconds from some other place whenever.
No, it's 30 seconds. Oh, what happened, Russ?
Oh, my dog hit the
Anthony.
My dog hit the wire here. Oh, something happened.
No, you know what that was? You know what that was? We were making fun of Anthony, and he
fucking punched his cell phone.
For those who are listening at a later date, Russ got assaulted by something. Anthony moved his phone with his mind, punched his phone with his mind across the coast and knocked him off. Because we're making fun of Anthony because Anthony has a thought, and then he thinks that we all have that same thought at the same time. So when Russ is talking about when does that 30 seconds starts, it starts with Anthony when he has that thought, which is coupled with thousands of other thoughts. And so that's when the timer starts, Russ.
It's like, hey, Will, Russ, I got an idea for a show.
No, that's not what it is. Listen, the phone rings and I answer it, and you are already in the conversation with me before I even answer the phone. You are already talking. It's not like, hey, good morning, bud, what's going on? It's just like, boom. And I'm struggling to figure out what the hell is going on. And then you're like, yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it now. Okay. Okay. Give me, what do I always say? Give me 10 minutes, man. Because
I don't ask. You sure I don't ask how the family's doing?
Never once have you ever asked me that. I'm just kidding. You do. Listen, there's personal calls and there's business calls. So you do. When we talk personally and we're just shooting the shit, you do, man. You're a hell of a guy.
Yeah, I like how like when I call anyways, like you already know why I'm calling. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I try to go around it. You know, I really do. I try to listen to all the other bullshit going on in your life, and then I'm like, okay.
I know you're like, how's the family?
Yeah, let's go. Let's get moving.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Actually, William, we want to do a show about how's the family, and we're gonna segue that into transgender inmates. While Russ is throwing a back scratcher at the phone. Is that a back scratcher, Russ? Russ!
Muted, Russ. Or you broke your phone when you went on a rage.
Oh, I broke my phone. I did. I'll never recover those words of wisdom I just got now because I forgot them. Because we were talking with the now Russ and not the then Russ. So, it's all lost.
Oh my gosh, this is insane.
I had something really profound.
You did.
Yeah,
Russ,
and now
we went back to the late 80s when you found that cell phone in San Quentin. Late 80s, I'm sorry.
There's no cell phones at San Quentin.
That's what happened, Anthony. He for a second, he just blacked out. He woke up, saw the cell phone, thought it was in an inmate's hand, knocked it out of his hands, thought he recovered it. Oh man, Russ.
That's exactly what happened.
Is it? You don't seem convinced.
I'm waiting for the then Russ to catch up with the now Russ. I'm the whenever Russ.
I'm losing feeling in my left arm from all of this, so I don't know if that's bad or not. Anthony, Russ, Roland. Thanks, guys, for coming on the show. Thanks for helping out. This has been a great time. I appreciate everything you guys do. All three of you guys are very, very near and dear to my heart and help me out tremendously. Anthony,
I didn't get to say goodbye.
No. I know. I'm messing with you a little bit.
I thought you
Okay.
Where the fuck's my goodbye? I like to say goodbye.
Final thoughts with Anthony.
All right.
Anthony gets to say goodbye twice.
Anthony
I just want to say it takes tremendous courage to do what you do, Bill. It does. A lot of people they voice for change, but they do it in a silo, and then they bitch and moan, and there's only a few people that actually step up and try to do something. And yes, we do get those trolls that think they could do better, but yet they don't. Yet they sit there at home and they're on their couch, and here we are. For those people that say, yeah, I want to do good for this profession, whatever it is, but fuck this, and all of a sudden, they're on their home in their couch saying, well, I'm not going to watch any videos related to corrections because I worked all day. Well, then we'll keep doing what we do because we work all day too, and yet we're creating the content, thinking about the content, making sure it gets out there for the right hands, and it takes a lot of courage for someone to step up and film that first video and stay motivated, because in the end of the day, this is what me and Russ have learned. So if I could give out some friendly advice, I don't care if it's an audience of one, because you're changing lives one by one, Rich. Just like Will, just like you changed the life of that inmate. That one day you saved the life of an inmate. You have no idea of the lives you're saving right now, because you're not going to know about it, but you're doing it. So bravo. And that was my goodbye, and you almost stepped on it, brother. And can I tell you something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I knew you were going to do that because I saw it already.
Because you have the then
Right. Well, he is on the East Coast, and so he's actually knows what's going to happen before it gets to us.
Yeah, I actually
And
videoed
Anthony,
this.
you need to have your Princess Leia ears on to keep your microphone up there because you're unmuffled.
Do you know why I took this off?
Why?
7.1 surround sound. When you dropped your phone, that shit rattled on both ears. I said I have to take this off. That was loud.
But that's not until 3 minutes from now.
Oh, it hasn't happened yet. You're right. Sorry.
But you still have your microphone. You have your microphone on your ears though, and I think that changed it. You're muffled.
Wait, hold on. This is the den. Hey,
there you go. Now it sounds right.
When you put those headsets on, man, it's like I'm calling a telemarketer to get some cable service or something.
I bought these today for $122, and I think they're shit.
Yeah, these were $7. These are $7, and they were actually my son's.
At Big Lots.
Yes, at Big Lots. And
Big Lots. I get mine from the dollar store, but you know.
Nice. Well, I'm a corporal, so I can go to Big Lots. I used to shop at the dollar store, but now I can spend big money.
I use this for my Oculus Quest, virtual reality.
Oh boy.
Right. I put my daughter in horror games, and she's only 3. Not the 7-year-old. She's not ready for it.
Right, but the 3-year-old is?
Yeah, I got it. Logic there was fucked up.
Yeah, it was a little bit. Yeah. So what's your favorite? What's your favorite Oculus? I didn't know you were a gamer, Anthony.
Yes, I love my VR, brother.
What's your? Arnold Schwarzenegger got caught up in a bad Oculus game.
What was it?
Total Recall.
Oh.
So you gotta be careful.
Like Player One. No, if you guys play Oculus out there, my favorite game right now is Coaster Combat.
No,
I love Coaster Combat. Oh yeah, sorry.
I'm still playing the first Tomb Raider on PlayStation.
Oh, classic.
Yeah.
Classic. I think that was my first crush.
Pong.
Oh,
yeah. Here's the.
When I was a kid, Pong and the Atari console, that was the big thing.
Yeah.
This is why
I had something, Russ. I thought you were gonna say, you guys remember Pong? Yes, I bought that for my grandchildren.
Then
that's why I like hanging out with. See, when I'm talking to Roland and I try to bring something up, he'll always bring up a TV show or some reference from like 1972, and he's like, "Do you know what I'm saying?" I'm like, "No, dude, I was not even alive back then. You need to bring it forward a little bit, but it's okay. It's like hanging out with my with my grandma."
That's 2.
Wait! You say hang out with Roland? Roland, he didn't say his grandfather. He said his grandma.
That's fine because payback. I'll get it.
Well, my grandpa didn't talk. My grandma was, very boisterous and told a lot of stories that were circular and didn't go anywhere, and that's Roland.
Yeah.
Did we provide any good advice today?
I don't think so. I think you summed it up. I think about 45 minutes into it, you said, "Don't be an asshole," and that's it. And then people stop listening. And here's the thing: the beauty of it is, all of us are trying to say, "Hey, everybody, please check us out. When you're done with work, when you're burned out, I want you to learn. I want you to stay in corrections. I want you to consume more content about corrections, and we're going to provide you value." And yet, we've been on the air for a minute or an hour 45, and I don't think, other than calling Sarah, I don't think we actually accomplished anything tonight.
No, Anthony got his iced coffee. That was
in his Tear Talk mug.
Yeah, his Tear Talk. Shameless plug. Put it up there.
Hey, I want you to know something.
Bill, hold your book up.
I drank this whole thing in one gulp. I just pretended it still had something in it for about an hour and change.
Oh yeah, that was your. Yeah, this is
plug for a book.
Yeah,
and
Bill,
Russ
hold
got
your
the
book
Guardian
up.
RFID, and you got the face mask.
Yeah, that's shameless plug, Roland. What do you have to plug?
The Detroit Red Wings. They're not in the playoffs this year, but I'm supporting the Red Wings.
Okay, well we don't do teams, and but thanks.
because I told you earlier, I have the lightest resume here. I have nothing. I have no shows, no books, no articles. Zippo. I have nothing to offer.
You should have
You forgot about your appearance on Saturday Night Synopsis.
Yeah.
You know, I got the behind the scenes look at that last week. I sat in the room while he did the show, and I'm not gonna lie, I fell asleep. Did I not?
You did. You did fall asleep. I actually thought you were dead, and so I had to check on you.
It was an intriguing episode. It was no Starsky and Hutch, I'll tell you that.
And there you go. There it is. Russ is the only one that understood that.
Well, I was okay.
I did understand that. Starsky and Hutch and the Gran Torino.
Yes.
Was it Fearless and Rawlings, right? I enjoyed it.
What, Starsky and Hutch?
No, not Starsky and Hutch. I never watched an episode.
I thought you were talking about Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson. Yeah. That was good.
Terrible.
Oh, yeah, the remake.
Yeah, horrible.
I know that maybe if Russ is still up after this, we could do that topic on bargaining.
Russ, are you still going to be up? Well, it's only 4 o'clock.
Still going to be up? No, I am. I got to get my beauty rest. Plus, it's been so damn smoky here. My throat. I'm about done.
So, what do you think? Tomorrow morning?
Yeah, probably tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I think that was a very interesting topic.
My morning then, not your morning now.
Yeah, hey.
I'm already calling you from the future.
I'm already ignoring you from the past.
Yeah. You don't pick up, man. Pick up.
All right, guys, that's all we got. Make sure you tune in next week, Saturday Night Synopsis, same bat time, same bat channel, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until next time, be smart, stay safe, stay sane, and we'll talk soon.
Hey, 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 yeah, hey, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, hey, hey. Oh, yeah, let's go.
You just had a giant orgasm at the end of the show.
Oh, my dog.
You're muted, Russ.
I am muted. There we go.
Hey, I thought it was a good episode. You know, I thought it was good. It was definitely